Hello everybody, we're back on this calf racery thing. It's now fully on the road and turn the petrol off. Now it's fully on the road, it's MOT'd, taxed, and now it's on my insurance. So I've been able to get out and about with it, and yes, it's interesting. I've said I fixed the gearbox and it's not fixed. It's better, but it's not fixed. Not yet. Hello mate, come have a look. Yeah, I know. Right, it's better than it was because I can now get, I can go up through the gears, start off in neutral, go into first, get second, third, fourth and fifth. When I change down, I can get fourth, get third, but I can't get second. And I can't go into neutral and I can't get first. And you can only pull away in third gear then. So it makes a bit of a mockery of having a 5-speed box, doesn't it? Right, why has this gearbox got this problem? I think it's quite common. There's more to this than meets the eye. This is the gear linkage. It's a left-hand shift one, and the linkage has got no bearing at all in whether you can get gears or not. So whether it's right or left-hand shift, that's just a shaft that runs through there and works at the arm like the right-hand shift would if it was that side. So that shaft can't do anything apart from revolve. So that's not the problem. So what is the problem? Right, well, the 5-speed gearbox was introduced in 2003, and that was in the era when they were still well into making cast iron bullets, and the quality was not wonderful. I mean, the components were being manually machined by the workers on prehistoric milling machines, lathes and all sorts of things. You know, they just had what they had. And when you get a man manually machining parts, there can be discrepancies, especially if he's under pressure in a production environment. So, you know, like cam plates for the it's a rotary selection process in the gearbox, a bit like Triumphs. 0.5 millimetre one way and 0.5 millimetre the other way makes an awful lot of difference in a precision thing like a gearbox selector. So a few lemons got through, and it wasn't until Aisha Motors took over Royal Enfield in 1994, they got to the point in 2000 where Aisha Motors wanted to shut Royal Enfield. They were losing money big time. And then we all know the story. Siddhartha Lal, the son of one of the founders, stepped in, as a keen motorcyclist, knew what he could see what the problems were, and he got the funding from the parent company to pump into it, and he modernised the factory, and he put a lot of CNC machines in. And we all know that CNC machine tools can make parts absolutely identically. So they took the skill off the man and gave it to the machine. So now all the men do is load components into the machines to make the parts. Yes, they're all put back together, they're all assembled manually in big units like the engine and gearbox, and forks and petrol tank and things are all added to the frame. You can't really get that wrong, can you? So that's why the quality wasn't there when they brought out the 5-speed. Occasionally you get a gearbox where everything was machined within tolerances or close enough to work, but there was more that didn't work than did work. So let's see what's happening. Right, we're in neutral now. I can spin the back wheel. Now if I get first gear, probably have to keep turning the wheel I think to get it, but right, we're in the first gear there, not a problem. So I'm pulling away in first gear, and I'll go into second. That's neutral. That's second. No, it's not. Let me start again. Now this is the problem, see, I can't change down again now. Basically, I'm going to tell you, cut it all this short. Right, when I'm changing down, let's get it into 5th gear. Right, we're in 5th gear there. Right, we change down. That's 4th. Yep, that's 4th gear. Now it's actually playing up now. I can't get 3rd. If I turn the back wheel, I can't get 3rd. It won't. This is what it's doing. Can't get 3rd, can't get 2nd, can't get 1st. You can't get out of 3rd. You can go back up to 4th, like that. But when you want to change down to again, that's 4th. But I can't get 3rd. Now, if you watch, that just will not go. No matter what you do with it, it will not go into 3rd gear. But if you lift the gear lever up, now listen, you'll hear a click. I don't know if you heard that. Now we just change down to 3rd. But I can't get 2nd. But if I lift the gearbox up, gear lever up a little bit, little tiny click, did you hear that? Now I can change down to neutral, which should be neutral. Yeah, that's neutral. And I can go into 1st. So it's a little bit vague. It's a lot better than it was, but which proves that I was on the right track to get this back. It's just changing up is not a problem. Right, we're into 5th, 4th, 3rd, but I can't get 2nd. This is where what it does out on the road. Can't get 2nd. Just will not have it. But lift the gear lever up that just little bit, that little click, which means it's not pushing the push rod where the selector mechanism far enough. And I've taken some metal off, so I'll show you when I get the cover off what I'm actually up against. So if you want to change down, you change down to 3rd, just lift the lever slightly and then you'll get 2nd, which is there. And that should be neutral. No, it's not, it's 1st. That's 1st. But it's vague. And I know that it's not to do with anything with slopping the lever or the mechanism or anything. It's because the parts have been machined wrongly. Because if you can get on the cam plate, if you can get 1 gear, you should be able to get more. So there is discrepancies in the machining, definitely. Now, when I did this before, the other day, I had to have the primary cover off, the clutch off, the magneto off, the primary chain off, the tensioner and everything. All had to come out so I can get the clutch off the end of the gearbox shaft and get all the gears out at the other end. So I stripped the gearbox right down to its shell and just left the selector mechanism in. So moving across to the other side, I shan't be doing any of that this time. It's just a kickstart off, undo the screws, drain the oil, undo the screws, take the cover off, and then there's a cross shaft there which has got the quadrant hanging on it, which is worked by a push rod up there. You'll see it when I take the cover off. I'll bring you back when I've got that off and I can explain it in a bit more detail. But before I did anything, I had to retune the carburetor. As you can see, it's got a Mark 1 concentric on it, and whoever fitted that, previous owner, had no idea at all about tuning the carburetor. When I set off on it last night, got back from work yesterday, and I set off on it quite late last night, and it popped and banged, and it was like surging, and it was like not at all happy. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to tune this carburetor. I don't know what jets he's got in it or anything. Now, the carburetor came from Hitchcock, so it would have come jetted right for this bike. That's your little pilot screw. And I started off with that, and I thought, right, let's get it. It would hardly tick over. It was like it would cut out and do all sorts of funny things. So I wound the throttle stop screw up a bit till the idle was higher, and it would keep running quite badly, not evenly, and stopped it. And then I wound the pilot screw in until it was fully home, and counted how many turns it took to get to. It was 3.5 turns out open, which makes it incredibly weak on the pilot side. So I seated it again and then wound it 1.5 turns out and started it up, and it was a lot happier. So then just get a little screwdriver in there, and I started to just start turning it in, and then the more I turned it in, the higher the revs went, until it was running at a crazy rate. And then it started to drop off a bit, so I thought, found the sweet spot at the highest possible revs and set it at that. So it's about 1 turn out now, and then I'll reset the throttle stop, and now it runs really nicely. It runs a lot better, a lot happier, which explains an awful lot for the bluing on this downpipe. Anyway, right, enough of this. We've got that sorted out. Going back to the gearbox. Right, I'll have the cover off, and I'll show you what I'm going to do and why it's doing it. It's an easy fix. You don't need many tools to do it. Anybody can do it if they've got a gearbox that's got these symptoms, where it's trouble to select gears. I'd done enough. I thought I'd done enough to it, and it seemed to work okay statically, but out on the road it was very different. And I'd rather take too little metal off than take too much and have the opposite effect then. So it's little by little. So I'm going to take it all apart again, get this selector out, and just take a little bit of metal off it. I'll show you that when I've got the cover off. Right, back in a bit. Bye. Right, here we are. Got the cover off for the gearbox, and the part I need to get at is this bit here, and that is the stop pin, which when you work the gear lever, it's hard because it's on the left hand side and I can't sort of film it, but basically this arm here is on the end of the shaft where the gear lever's on the other end of it. So when you move this, it moves it up, and you can see it moves that quadrant just there, look. So this is in a changing down mode here by going that way, and at the back, let's get a bit of light in there. At the back there, where the pin hits it, it needs a bit taken off it. I've taken a bit off it, but I need to take more, because that is where that quadrant is hitting that stop pin before it's changed down, which means it's not pulling it quite enough. So the easiest way to do that is to take this shaft out, take all this out, the whole lot, and I can get at it then, and just get in there with the rotary tool, with a Dremel, just take a bit more off it, and that should cure it. So the other thing is, when I drained the oil out of it, it was just really thin stuff. Should be 90 gear oil in there, so that will get rectified, because I just put the oil back in that I drained out last time, just for speed, just to test it on my oil. I thought, well, I've got to service it anyway. So yeah, so I'm going to be putting gear oil back in this, because I'm pretty sure that this will cure it once and for all. Just takes the little, it doesn't need a lot of it, and I haven't taken a lot of it last time, but last time I had all this lot, the carrier plate off, all the seals, all the kickstart off, the whole lot, the gear clusters, everything out, just to get, so I could see this mechanism, because on the end of that quadrant is a pull, is a claw which pulls on the cam plate and pulls it round into gear, and it's not letting it move enough. So right, let's get that out and we'll have a look then. See you in a bit. There we are, we've got the quadrant out, and I've taken a little bit of metal off there, which will allow the stop pin to go a little bit further, and allow this to push the pull and the cam plate round a little bit more. I've taken a bit more off it, so hopefully we'll get it this time, so we'll get it back together and I'll see you in a minute.